Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of the program. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or to sell real estate, and it does it with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. We air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is available on Barb's site. Barb has thebuyers.com, or go ahead and search Barb Schlinker on most of the popular podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, plus the other ones. Every week, the Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of the largest assets that people have, that you have, your home. Barb, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, Richard, initially we're going to talk about the market in general. And one of the things that happened more recently, we went from February through June with the prices going up again. And then whoops, in July, we went backwards. And a lot of that has to do with the rates going up. So we'll talk about that and the impact on the market. And then I'm going to have some fun telling stories like about my home inspection nightmares that sellers need to know about before they put their home on the market. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is how do you approach selling a home in a changing market? It's not the same. We've had so many changes in the past few years, starting with COVID, and the world stopped and then it started again. Then we had low inventory. Then we had a huge surge in demand, and the boom went on for 2 years. And then all of a sudden, when the rates went up, things went a little bit sideways and the market corrected back down. What's going on now is fewer people can afford homes, right? So there's not as many buyers out there willing to pay top dollar. So you have to be ready when you go on the market. And then the last topic we're going to talk about is full of drama. We're going to be talking about a squatter alert and what can you do about it if somebody occupies your home without permission. And of course, I always love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
Barbara, I know a lot of people are very concerned about that squatter issue, and I look forward to hearing more about it later in the program. The Fed continues on its path of raising interest rates, and the market seems to have changed a bit. So, Barb Schlinker, what impact does the Fed's increase in those interest rates have on the housing market right now?
Well, Richard, for most buyers, they get a loan and they have to make regular payments on their housing expense. So if the rates go higher, their payment goes higher. And it reaches a point where it's unaffordable if their payment is too high. So every time the Fed ticks the rates up, it really removes some available buyers from the market, especially the first-time home buyers. And most of those land in Gen X, millennial, even the Gen Z generation. They're buying homes right now. But if the payments aren't affordable, they can't do it. They're going to have to rent for a while. So basically, the Fed raising the interest rates created this demand destruction that we're seeing right now. So I think what just happened when the Fed raised the last interest rates in the past probably few weeks, we saw the mortgage rates go up. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Just so you know, when the Fed raises rates, that has to do with the banks getting money from the Fed. Sometimes the mortgage rates will actually go down, and that's because of supply and demand. The people that are brokering mortgage loans will forecast what kind of loan applications they're going to get. So mortgage rates in general are going to fluctuate every weekday, every hour of the day. And if you can catch a low moment and get a low rate, it's a good thing. So people that are considering making a move right now, they're doing it for lifestyle considerations. Some need a smaller home, some need a bigger home. Some have a home now, and that's the biggest problem we're running into lately, is they are sitting on really low interest rates. You wouldn't believe how many people I talk to, Richard, that say, yeah, my mortgage is 2.25%. Could you imagine that?
Especially compared to where it's been other times. I think they would be shocked to know what a good deal that was. Not as good as it was a little bit ago, but that's a great deal, right?
It's fabulous. It's almost like free money. But let's say they're thinking about making a move. Maybe they need a bigger home. Maybe they're thinking of moving. They have to think twice now that the rates are into the sevens. It means that they can afford less home or they can't afford the home at all. And that's part of the reason why we're seeing low inventory along with low demand. So since probably 2022, I'm showing a chart right now where it's showing this huge surge in interest rates all across the board. And who is buying homes? Well, if you look at charts that just came out from the National Association of Realtors, I would say the biggest demographic of people buying homes right now are the Gen Xers. Those are people that are in the age between 43 and 57, followed right behind the young boomers, 58 to 67. And then the next highest number is pretty even with older boomers and the millennials, older Gen Ys. I don't know. I thought it was Gen Z, but I guess it's Gen Y that's 24 to 32. They're buying about 12% of the homes. So if they can afford it, they're buying. Now, these charts, of course, are nationwide. When you look kind of locally in Colorado, Colorado in general is pretty expensive compared to other markets. I've got a couple of clients right now that are leaving this town because the housing is so expensive. They're moving to places where they can get a brand new home or a newer home on a nice size lot with a 2-car garage for under $100,000. So I understand why they're doing that, especially if they're getting ready to retire. So it's really important that you really carefully think about it. Now, do I think the rates are going to correct back down to 3%? To be honest, no. Maybe down to 5, but I don't think we'll see a 3 in front of an interest rate in my lifetime. A lot of that took place because the Fed was supplying money into the system to buy the rates down by buying bonds. They're not going to do that anymore. So prices have increased at the same time that interest rates have gone up. So we're seeing at least a 40% bump in home values. And now we're seeing 100% increase or more than 100% of interest rates. So that really does create a whole lot of cooling off in the market. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the host of Your Real Estate Voice. I'm also the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been here in real estate since 1996. And we're really talking right now about what this increase in interest rates will do to the market, especially going forward. And next up, we're going to be talking about what home sellers should expect to see and what they need to do in order to prepare for this new market condition. I think it will surprise you, Richard.
Barb, we're discussing these Fed rates and the recent increase in them. And I want people to understand that they can get in touch with you by just calling 719-301-3900. You've got all kinds of free reports, actually, that are there. They can look at those and they can get in contact with you and your team. They'll take great care of you. I'm saying Barb and her team will. And she understands it's a fiduciary relationship. More importantly, she's on top of the markets, just like you're hearing right now, every day, every week. She's been doing this for a couple of decades. She knows what she's doing. And as I said, we're discussing the Fed's recent increase on the Fed borrowing rate and whether or not it has an effect on the housing market. So, Barb, what should home sellers expect and do in this market situation?
Well, Richard, believe it or not, the market is not crashing at all. A lot of people thought so. In fact, we did, especially in the Colorado Springs area, because last year, between April and December, we saw on average an 11% reduction in home prices. That's a pretty big hit. We don't normally see fluctuations that big, except for 15 years ago during the meltdown. But that all had to do with the Fed raising interest rates faster than they ever have in our history, going from 3-ish% all the way up to over 7 in just a few short months. Now it's stabilized a bit. You may see it go up a quarter, down a quarter. It's kind of the new normal. And I think people are getting used to it right now. So they've just accepted it and now they're finding ways to afford it. Like I'm seeing younger people sit on the sidelines and really conserve and save and then show up with a big down payment when they're ready to buy so they can afford that payment. I think that's great. And hey, if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. We've got some great free reports if you're not ready right now that you could download. If you just click on the green free report button, one of them is named the top tips to sell your house fast and for top dollar. You can download that for free or just call us at 719-301-3900. And honestly, I think if a home seller is getting ready to sell their home right now, the key is number one, you got to pick the agent that's on your team. You should fire an agent that goes out and picks up their smartphone to take pictures of your home. That is unacceptable. Buyers, most of the buyers, what the NARD report said was 99% of the buyers out there are making their decision about what home they're going to go see based on the online pictures. So if the agent is too cheap and too lazy to take decent pictures, move on. I would ask that question if you're going to interview them. Because first of all, professional pictures are not that expensive. We even get floor plans with our photos, which is, people love that, okay? But you have to have the wow factor to get them in the door. Years ago when I started, the typical buyer would physically go in and look at 40 homes. They're not doing that anymore. They're doing it in their fuzzy bunny slippers at home or on their phone and making a decision about whether or not they're even going to drive by, let alone go see that home. So you got to hire the agent that knows how to promote the home, prepare the home, and price it right. Richard?
And Barb Schlinker is that person. As you can see, she stays on top of all of the latest trends, all of the latest technology. They don't teach you how to market a home in a real estate class. You either have to learn that on your own or by experience. And that's why you need somebody who is as experienced as Barb. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making that move, 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about home inspection nightmares that home sellers should be ready for before they even go on the market. You don't want to miss that.